NFL trade deadline 2022 has concluded. Big acquisitions include Roquan Smith to Baltimore, Bradley Chubb, Jeff Wilson to Miami, Calvin Ridley to Jacksonville, Hawkinson to Minnesota, local boy, our guy from Abbotsford, out of Notre Dame, Chase Claypool off to Chicago, Naheem Hines to Buffalo, and you know, I just want to take a look at Bradley Chubb. I think that it's a very good move. There's a lot of potential there. The former fifth overall pick is now going to Miami. It's going to be huge help for them defensively, kind of putting some pieces together, becoming a little bit more of a complete team with adding these pieces together. Chase Edmonds is off to Denver. Jeff Wilson is coming in to help Raheem Mostert in the backfield in a very pass-heavy offense. The outside linebacker position is now solidified with Bradley Chubb, I think. He's going to be helping with the blitz, helping with the run defense. We're going to have to see how all this plays out. I do think that it's a very interesting trade, and obviously, like I said, there's a lot of potential there with this Pro Bowler now adding your defensive line. However, I don't know if he's worth a first-round pick and Chase Edmonds. We're gonna have to see how that turns out. But again, I think Miami is very focused on the present rather than what could be with that first round pick. That's their only first round pick. We'll have to see what happens there. I'm really excited about the Dolphins. I do think that they really have a lot of potential. Tyreek Hill, he's on pace to have around 2,000 receiving yards this year. That would be a record. Of course, no one has ever had 2,000 receiving yards in a season. The most is by Megatron. Around 10 years ago, that was I think a different era. We're moving into what could have happened last year, around the 2,000 mark achievement just by Cooper Kupp, what he was able to do individually last season. So Tyreek Hill has 92 targets this year, which seems like a majority, or at least a lot is going to him. A lot is going to Waddle in the end zone. We're seeing that. The run game is developing. It can potentially, obviously, it will, probably get better with Jeff Wilson in there alongside with Raheem Mostert. We're seeing this with Miami, but relying heavily on Tyreek Hill. I'm just glad that Jalen Waddle is there. Just wrapping up kind of what happened on Sunday with Miami getting their win in Week 8. Sunday Night Football, Packers and Bills happened, and that game would have been great. You look at the score and you think, oh, they kind of went back and forth. There was, some good competition there. But unfortunately, the game was tainted by a lot of stupidity, just a lot of regretful things between just from Quay Walker's ejection for shoving a coaching staff of the Bills, completely unnecessary. He's gone. And you can kind of see this coming from the beginning. If you tuned in and you saw that Stephon Diggs was walking out with Green Bay, just chirping at Jair Alexander, they're just kind of ridiculous, petty pontification just marred this game because it was just like, oh, come on, like, are we serious here? It's like we're trading all this hard, intense, tough-willed, hard-working guys, these incredible athletes, these professional football players. It's like that's what happens, and then we're just gonna completely remove any sort of sense. That's kind of just the culture, especially around getting all these taunting penalties, which seem to happen. I mean, don't even get me started on DJ Moore, and the Panthers lost to Carolina. That was just ridiculous. God bless him, obviously. I hope he learned something from this. I hope the entire league learned something. Clearly, Stephon Diggs didn't. I'm a Vikings fan, and I'm genuinely happy now that Stephon Diggs is no longer part of the organization of the Vikings. Man, that was just completely ridiculous, and it would have been a better game without any of that. And this kind of thing is definitely going to be. It's not going to stop, right? Like, you get a first down, you get a touchdown, you're going to celebrate, and you're going to taunt the other team. That's just the formula. That's just the culture. It's just how it works. It's going to be hard to kind of unwire that. Even if you look at that and you say, oh, I'm just doing my team a disservice. We haven't even won the game yet. That's why a lot of people respect and honor and admire, and they just look up to these guys that just, get a touchdown. Okay, well, let's go back and just allow the defense to now, this comes back to just the whole idea of compartmentalizing a game. Guys like Cooper Kupp and Derrick Henry, they don't go crazy on the celebrations when they get a reception, first downs, deep balls, whatever. It doesn't matter, because if I'm gonna celebrate now, but it's gonna cost me down the road, like, let's just look at this thing as a whole here, okay? Let's look at this game as something that we need to achieve as a team. So I'm not gonna go crazy on my own, thinking that I'm the reason that we're gonna win this game. Of course, this is something that translates leagues, goes into other sports, including the National Basketball Association. So, Steve Nash got fired. I was kind of expecting this. The team just wasn't a very good team last season. It was so hard to watch them. Everything with Harden being out from injury, Kyrie being, Harden got traded. Kyrie was out. Kevin Durant was out again. Ever since the semifinals in 2021 against Milwaukee, that team just hasn't been the same. The Harden experiment failed, I understand. But there's really no excuse for why the Nets should be losing, especially at the start of this season. The way last season went, it just didn't. It's completely inexcusable for having this many good players on your team and just not being able to put them together, get them to win. I feel like the same thing is happening in LA right now. It's no time to press the panic button on the Nets, because they can certainly make the playoffs. At least the play-in. Things are going to work out for them. I'm pretty sure that they're going to figure it out. It's going to have to be something a little bit more than Kyrie and KD getting their obligatory 30 points a game. I do think that they probably would have won today against the Bulls if Kyrie had a little bit more than 2 of 12 from the field and 0 of 6 from 3. Yeah, but current top NBA load management players include Brandon Ingram, Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Kawhi Leonard, Joel Embiid, and Anthony Davis. So if you're going to one of those games, just remember that Adam Silver wants all these players to not be there, because they think that you're going to a Clippers game and you're watching. I want to go to a Clippers game. I want to watch Marcus Morris Sr. and I want to watch Luke Kennard and Reggie Jackson. Nobody wants to see these guys. They want to see the superstars in their team and the superstars on the counterpart teams. Well, it just looks bad. It's not tough, hard-willed, or strong-minded at all. The NBA is completely ridiculous for allowing this to happen, because these guys are not injured. I know what it's like to be injured. I've had my fair share of injuries. If I was an NBA player, I'd probably be injury-prone myself. But that does not excuse that. You need to be accountable for what's going on, for what's happening to you and your body, what the truth is, what's actually happening here. Non-COVID illnesses, what does that even mean? These designations are complete fluff. They make absolutely no sense for why a player should not be playing. If it's serious enough, then explain. You need to be accountable for what's going on. It's like reporting on these things doesn't even matter anymore. And the NBA looks obviously awful for doing this. I understand that every player is different. Not all injuries are the same. But there are a lot of injuries that happen to similar athletes in other sports, and they return half the time from the same injury. Yeah. And that's just not my opinion. I love Zion, I really want him to succeed. I want him to have a long, healthy NBA career. But it's not off to a great start, especially in the culture that he's in right now in New Orleans, because he's already had 2 load management games. I completely understand that. But I do not believe, I am completely incredulous to him actually being injured last year. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt and not just assume that he had an additional injury. It's getting worse. And I also want to give the Pelicans the benefit of the doubt and not assuming that they just looked at the season and thought, oh, well, okay, it's March, it's April. We're on the outside of the playoffs looking in. Let's just, wait till next season. Yeah, no. Up yours at NBA. Not happening. World Series video coming soon. Thanks for tuning in.